Welcome to Algebra 2. This is Chapter 8.3, Part 2 of Rational Functions and Their Graphs. In Part 2, we're going to talk about vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So here we have the definition of vertical asymptote. And basically, you're going to have a vertical asymptote, meaning that your graph is going to approach but never cross this vertical line. That'll happen if you have an x on the denominator that can't be canceled. So let's look at a few examples, examples and non-examples. So our first is a non-example. And we have our factors on the top, x plus 2 and x minus 2, and our factor on the bottom. Well, for our domain, x cannot equal a negative 2. We still can't plug that in. However, x plus 2 and x plus 2 can be canceled. So that, if you remember, is called a removable point of discontinuity, and that creates a hole in the graph. On the other hand, if you have your factors on the top and your factor on the bottom, so x plus 3 and x minus 2 are factors on the top, x minus 1 is on the bottom. For our domain, x cannot equal a positive 1, because that would give us a 0 on the bottom, and it can't be canceled. So therefore, we have a vertical asymptote, because it can't be canceled, at x equals positive 1. So let's look at a few more examples. What are the vertical asymptotes for the graph of the rational? Oh, and the previous, so the one in red was a non-example, and this one in blue is an example. So in got it number 2, we have more examples. We want to find the vertical asymptotes. So we look to the bottom, and we need to first ask ourselves, can anything be canceled? And we have x minus 2 on the top. That doesn't match any of our factors on the bottom. So our answer is no. So now we need to see when will our factors be equal to 0? Because we can't have 0 on the denominator. So x minus 1 equals 0, add the 1 over, add the 1 over. X cannot equal a positive 1. If we set x plus 3 not equal to 0, subtract 3 over, x cannot equal a negative 3. So that's our domain. And because they can't be canceled, that makes our vertical asymptotes the same thing, or the same numbers. So x equals 1 is a vertical asymptote, and x equals negative 3. So if I was to graph that out, you would have a vertical asymptote here at a positive 1, and here at a negative 3. So that means your graph would approach but not cross those lines. So I'm not really sure what it looks like, but let's say it looks something like this. So if you notice in example 2, we have a factor x minus 2 on the top and a factor of x minus 2 on the bottom. So that factor can be canceled, which makes x equals 2 a point of discontinuity. You get it, right? And it's removable, which makes it a hole in the graph. But what about this other one, x plus 3? Well, there's nothing that can happen, or there's nothing that can cancel, sorry. So that makes x equals negative 3 a vertical asymptote. For our last example, we need to rewrite our equation so that the top is in factored form. And x squared minus 1 is a difference of squares. So you take the square root of x squared, which is x. You take the square root of 1, which is 1. And you put 1 as a positive factor and 1 as a negative factor. So your top should read x plus 1, x minus 1, and your bottom is x plus 1. Now, x plus 1 can be canceled. So your point at x equals -1, that is a point of discontinuity, which makes it removable because we just canceled it, which creates a hole in the graph, and we have nothing left on the bottom, so we have no vertical asymptotes. Next, we need to talk about horizontal asymptotes of our graph. So we talked about vertical asymptotes, which is x equals. Now we need to look at our horizontal asymptotes, which go sideways, right? They go along here, and they have the equation y equals a certain number. So there's 3 different situations, and we have to look at the degree of the top, which is the highest exponent, and compare it to the degree of the bottom, so the highest exponent of the bottom. So if we're looking at the first situation, in the first situation, if the top degree or exponent, let's rewrite it as exponent, just because we use that term more often. If the top exponent is smaller or less than the bottom exponent, then your asymptote, your horizontal asymptote, is y equals 0, no matter what. So if the exponent on the numerator is lower than the exponent on the denominator, then your horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. However, if it's the other way around, so if the top exponent is actually bigger or greater than the denominator, then you have no asymptote, no horizontal asymptote. And then third situation, if the degree is the same, so if the exponents are the same, then you have to compare the coefficients. So you do the coefficient of the top, so coefficient of the top divided by, and coefficient is the number with your x, okay? And you compare it, you divide it by the coefficient of the denominator. All right, let's do a few examples because this is confusing. So the first step is to find the degree or the highest exponent of both the top and the bottom. Second step is to figure out which horizontal asymptote we're going to have, 1, 2, or 3. And then from there, you got your answer. So in A, we're just looking at x, our highest x. So on the top we have 2x, and this is to the first power. And on the bottom we have x, and that's to the first power. Well, they have the same degree. They have the same exponent, 1 and 1. So if we go to our rules, that follows number 3. So we have to divide the coefficient of the top, so the number with our x, and divide it by the coefficient of the bottom. So our coefficient would be -2 and a +1. So that means our horizontal asymptote is y equals a -2. All right, let's do part B. Again, look at your exponents. So we're looking at the highest x of the top and the highest x of the bottom. So that's x and x squared. So that's to the first power. X is to the first power. We have x to the second power. So that means the top is less than the bottom. So let's look up at our rules, and that matches number 1. So what do we have to do with number 1? Well, if it has that situation, then your horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. And that's your answer. And then our last one, part C. Again, look at your highest exponent of the top and the highest exponent of the bottom. So we have x squared over x. Now our top is greater than the bottom, which is example 2, or rule number 2. And if we look at rule number 2, it means that there's no horizontal asymptote. So your answer for C would be none or no horizontal asymptote. And that's your answer. All right, so on got it number 4, we're going to put it all together and figure out how to graph these bad boys. So what we have to do first is factor the denominator. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 5. Factors of 5, that would add up to a negative 6, and that would be a negative 5 and a negative 1. Negative 5 times negative 1 gives you a positive 5. Added together gives you a negative 6. So we have x minus 5 is one factor, and x minus 1 is another factor. So, because that's on the denominator, and we can't cancel anything, we have to find our asymptotes. So we have a vertical asymptote at 5 and a positive 1. So x equals 5 and x equals 1 are vertical asymptotes. So let's write those down on our graph first. And a positive 1, so that goes there. So those are our vertical asymptotes. All right, next step is to find our horizontal asymptote. And we have to go back to the rules of the degree on the top and the degree on the bottom. Well, it looks like the top is a degree of 1, which is smaller than the degree under the bottom. So if we go back to our rules, it states that our horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. So we have a horizontal asymptote going across at y equals 0. So now we need to plug in some points into an xy chart to find our the rest of our graph. So we got to pick quite a few points because the graph is going to be curvy, and we need to know which way it's curving and that it's not a straight line and all that good stuff. So we're going to do -2, -1, and 0 because that's 3 points on the left side of our first asymptote. Then we're going to do 2, 3, and 4 because that's 3 points on the inside of our asymptotes. And we're going to do 6, 7, and 8 because that's on the right side of our asymptotes. So let's plug those into our calculator and solve. And look at that, I already did the math for you and I plugged them in. So now we need to put them onto our graph. So in red, I plotted the points and I connected the dots. I want you to remember that y equals is an asymptote, so we are going to approach but never cross that line. So that's why I knew that these points are going to get really close to the line, but barely touch it. Hopefully not touch it, but you know, I can't draw very well. And then this is an asymptote as well, so because my points were going up, I knew it was just going to continue to go up, but never cross that line. Here I had 3 points that I made kind of into an arc, so I knew that looked like a parabola pointing downwards. And again, we're not going to cross these blue lines because those are our asymptotes. And on the right side, we had 3 dots that looked like they were in an exponential decay, and so that's how I drew that as well. The last example we are going to skip, but feel free to try it on your own if you want.